go! Let's go!
Good morning. Welcome in, everybody. It is week 9 of the NFL season. We are here. We're here to answer those start-sit questions. Fantasy is an absolute mess here as we head into week 9. Plenty of injuries, plenty of bye weeks, and plenty of questions. All right. Normal housekeeping, pretty straightforward. You can drop the comments questions. You can also go ahead, head on over to the Twitter machine, toss the comments in the start sit thread that's been running this morning. You can do that as well. You can do it as well on the post here that you're watching on FTN Fantasies X as well. Either way, if the question does not get pulled up on the screen, could be just answering it off of Twitter. Either direction, the questions will be answered. Yeah, that's the simple ins and outs of it. So without further ado, we're a little behind, so we're going to go ahead and just start ripping right into those questions. We have plenty of them this morning. And let's make sure everything's working here. Okay. So a little bit behind on the Twitter thread. We're going to scroll back to that. Shane, good morning. What's up, Shane? Play 2, Alec Pierce, Cortland Sutton, Stephon Diggs, Ted McMillan. Full PPR play, 1 of Dak Williams or Jaden Daniels. Okay. Pretty simple on the quarterback side of it. It's Jaden Daniels. Anytime Daniels is playing, we're going to play him. Dak's intriguing. Not so much in on Caleb, but I think Jaden Daniels will be fine. Should be a healthy back. I know Seattle's a little bit tougher, but not the end of the world there for Jaden Daniels. As far as your other question, Alec Pierce, Sutton, Diggs, McMillan. A little tougher, but I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs. It's a tough matchup against Atlanta. Still like the spot for him, though. The other two, not so much in on Alec Pierce and Cortland Sutton. Don't like the matchup for Cortland Sutton against Houston, but you do have Ted McMillan. I will probably go there. Tougher matchup against Green Bay. Bryce Young likely playing. Don't love that as opposed to Andy Dalton, but should be all right. So I would probably go Stephon Diggs and Ted McMillan there. Worst of the wear there for the other 3 guys. Okay, let's see here. Right, quicker question here for Bobo on X, Bates or Cardi. I will go with Jake Bates. Crystal on X, start 1 full PPR or start 1 flex 1. Okay, so it's wide receivers: Pittman, McConkey, Robinson, and London. So we're gonna start Drake London. A little tougher matchup against New England, but not overly worried. And then McConkey for sure, like that spot against the Giants. Woody Marks or Bam Knight. Probably going to go with Bam here. It's a good spot. I know there's the worry that we're going to see Michael Carter, potentially a 3-headed monster in general with Michael Carter and DeMarcado on Monday night, but I still like the spot for Bam. He's kind of emerged out of that murky backfield to begin with. They also kind of cut Carter, brought him back in. Feels like they have the most hope and liking towards Bam Knight, so I'm going to go there for you. Henry, Jameson Williams, or Parker Washington would be Parker Washington. I like the spot for him. No Travis Hunter opens up the interior spot there for the slot / Z type of role in Cohen's offense, and that's kind of, we've seen Sutton already this season, or we've already seen Parker Washington have success in that territory a few games back. So I do like that. Brian Thomas Jr. will obviously see a little bit of a bump, but I do like Parker Washington there. Or Jameson Williams, who's kind of been a little bit of a down play, I guess we'll say, for the entirety of the season. Sean, this one came in way before showtime. So Sean, I don't know if you're here yet, but I would definitely go ahead and take Woody Marks. Either that or the time's off. Could be Sean. I don't know what that. 4 a.m. Either way, Woody Marks over Aaron Jones in this spot. Like the spot against Denver. Houston should have to throw. Passing back, Woody Marks take that over Aaron Jones, especially with McCarthy coming in there in Minnesota. Frank, Drake May, or Jaden Daniels. Close, but I would probably go with Daniels. May against Atlanta. Atlanta, we've seen give some quarterbacks some fits, so I will probably roll with Jaden Daniels. David, welcome in. The Adam Scheffner of the stream is here for us today. Not too many injuries that we're worried about here, David. We kind of already got all the news. It's a bummer, right? J.K. Dobbins or Bam Knight. I would go with Knight. Dobbins against Houston, might fall in the end zone, but don't love the spot for him. I think Knight could have a pretty good day today. Joe on X, Butte or Romeo Dubes. I would go with Keyshawn Butte. Again, Atlanta's a little bit of a tougher matchup, but as you get further down the depth chart, a little bit easier there. So they may look a little bit more towards Butte. Either that or Butte ends up with seeing the top coverage, which, but still rolling with it. Alex, PPR need to start 3 with at least 2 running backs: Mungai, Dobbins, Hunt, Diggs, or Dubes. So Mungai and Hunt are the 2 running backs for sure, and then I would slot Diggs in there over Dobbins and Dubes for you, Alex. Let's see here. Riger 98. Who would you start? Pick 2. Christian Watson. Where's the list? Christian Watson, Dyke, Diggs, Wandell. Okay, shorter. So it's going to be Wandell and Diggs. And then also pick 2 of Javonte, Vidal, Mungai, and Chase Brown. So I would go Javonte and Vidal. Riger, that's a good. It's a pretty good roster right there. Jeremy, PPR need 1 wide receiver and 1 flex. Darius Slayton, Parker Washington, Torrey Horton if Cooper Kupp is out. Bam Knight. Problem with Kupp is it sounds like he's not going to play. We're not going to know till 6 p.m. So there's struggle there. Obviously, you could pivot to Bam. So I'm probably going to roll Parker Washington and Bam Knight either way. Not really looking to plug Horton in overnight. So it'd probably be Washington and Knight for you there, Jeremy. Dunder on X, Jordan Addison or Woody Marks. I would go with Woody Marks. I want to see what Addison looks like with with McCarthy there at quarterback as opposed to Carson Wentz. Could be a little bit different. Maybe not as good as we would hope for. So avoiding Jordan Addison if all possible. Okay, let's roll it back. Tick tock, tick tock. Let's see here. Dropping this in here. Okay. David, I have Addison, Tet, Marvin Harrison Jr. at wide receiver, CD and flex. Bench is Dobbins, QJ, Kincaid on the bench. Okay, so I have Addison, Tet, wide receiver, CD is flex. Bench is Dobbins, QJ, Kincaid. I mean, I don't mind going with Kincaid over Addison. Like I said, I don't really trust Addison. It's a good matchup, but I don't trust McCarthy, I guess would be the better word there than Addison himself. So I guess I trust Kincaid a little bit more. I know it's not an ideal matchup against Kansas City. They've been pretty stout against tight ends. But the Bills need to get Kincaid going. And this would probably be a matchup that they will. The perimeter is also a little tough against Kansas City. So it's either going to be Kincaid or Shakir, likely maybe both. So I would lean into probably Kincaid over Addison and put CD in the wide receiver spot. So that's where I would be, David. Raul on X, Watson or Dyke. I'd go Shamari Dyke, and then Caleb Johnson or Daniel Jones. I would go with Caleb. Sports Jest, Goff or Love. I will go with Jordan Love. Birthday game. Gotta go with the birthday games, folks. D'Angelo, Kendrick Bourne, or Quentin Johnston. I'll go with Quentin Johnston. It's been a rough go, honestly, for both these guys. But I think Quentin Johnston's probably in a better spot to have a bounce back today. Rachel On X, pick 2, BTJ, McMillan, Genty. So I would go Ashton Genty and Brian Thomas Jr. there for you, Rachel. Don't love Tet against Green Bay. In spots, we'll start him, but not in that situation. Fantasy Football 32, Keenan or Monungai. I would go with Monungai. And hopefully he doesn't make me look silly. Very much could happen. Yeah. Offered him up a lot. I feel like everybody is, though. So won't be me. That's the only one that looks silly. Is Kyler really a threat to play some on Monday Night Football? I'm starting Brissett, but would swap off if true. Daniel, I don't. I'm sure when they say they have some packages, it's maybe some scrambling type of packages. Also could just be if Brissett looks like doo-doo and they're saying, yeah, we're bringing Kyler in. So I would say depends on who's out there to swap, but I don't hate just starting Brissett. I think you should be okay. So Dallas doesn't really scare me. James, morning to you. Morning to you. Half PPR have Trey Tucker and Ken Walker in flex. Swift is injured, unfortunately. Parker Washington, Theo Johnson, AJ Barner on the bench. Could have picked up Horton or P. Ryan. I would play Parker Washington over Trey Tucker. So I think Trey Tucker's role and expansion of his role and everything kind of came via the Bowers injury. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think Parker Washington is probably a little bit of a stronger start this week than Trey Tucker. As well, James, I will take Dart over Knicks. Yes. Good morning. Fergie, Worthy, or Diggs at the flex. I would go with Stephon Diggs here. It's tough to bet against the Patriots offense at the moment, so I will roll with that. No, it's a tough matchup against Atlanta, but I like the spot. Worthy's up in the air. He could have a big game. They may want to try to, the old stick it to the Bills for not taking him. Doubt it. I really think that kind of Diggs feels like a little bit of a safer volume type of play here. Dinwani, Dart, or Jordan Love. I would go with Love as well again here. I like spot from today. Again, birthday game. Got to start them on their birthday. All righty. Is this a question? Whoops. It is. Higgins or Diggs. I'll actually go T. Higgins here. I like the spot. I'm a little higher than him than the rest at FTN Fantasy. I think honestly, even as well as the ECR over at Fantasy Pros. I like the spot. I think Flacco is good enough to move the ball. Chicago secondary is still a little meh. So I'm in on T. Higgins a little bit more than the average folk out there. Jonathan on X. Pick 2 between Cortland Sutton, Johnston, and Downs. I would roll with Sutton and Downs here. Don't love the spot for Cortland Sutton this week, but I just can't trust Quentin Johnston at the moment when I have a semi-viable wide receiver to pivot to. So, yeah, just not doing it right now. No, I like Horton, James. The usage is kind of proven. We've seen him step in a small sample size. I was super high on Torrey Horton coming out as a prospect. I like the spot in Seattle. I think that there's a chance that he sees expanded use, but I don't know what that will look like. Likely see some of the Cooper Kupp role, but Cooper Kupp's role was already fairly insignificant. Where in that small sample that we got where Parker Washington kind of saw an expanded role, we saw him like get fed. And that's kind of the offense in Jacksonville, also facing the Vegas defense. I just like that spot a little better for Parker Washington. I think Horton is okay, but just prefer Parker Washington. That's all. It's not that I don't like him. I guess, James, if you have a lean to Horton, that's fine. I'm not going to say you're wrong. You may end up being right. Who knows? Is Pacheco a drop? David, maybe. Depends who you're dropping them for. And you're welcome, James. Drops always matter on who you're dropping it for. Like Isaiah Pacheco's still fine. It's just going to be who else is out there. Are you dropping Isaiah Pacheco for, I don't know. David, you tell me who you're thinking of dropping him for. Then I'll tell you. That's where I'm at. Colton Butte or Marvin Harrison Jr. Would be Marvin Harrison Jr. Again, like the spot here for Arizona against Dallas. Dallas giving up a ton of touchdowns to wide receivers. Marvin Harrison scores touchdowns. We saw him kind of start to get it back on there prior to that concussion, prior to the bye week. Hopefully, with the bye week back, we see a little bit. I don't think it's going to be, wide receiver 1 territory, but I do think that we can see Marvin Harrison solid wide receiver 2 type. The teens likely is where he's going to finish there for us. So I'm in on it. Let's see here. So this one's a tough one to read out loud here. Let's see. So okay, there we go. Chris, how are you? Bye week quarterback quagmire. I like it. Superflex. Start both Stroud or Tyler Shuck. Tough games. Or bench one, maybe Shuck and start Kyle Pitts. I would bench Tyler Shuck and play Kyle Pitts. 100%. Do it in a lot of spots. Pretty notorious for not having 2 quarterbacks in Superflex leagues. And I do just fine more times than not. So I'm fine. Like Tyler Shuck is not a guy I would be marching out there, Chris. Just roll with Kyle Pitts, 100%. David, right now it's Smith, Tutton, and Watson, but every week there's someone else on the waivers. Yeah, I mean, if you want to, David, I mean, I feel like if you're talking about Smith as in Brashard Smith's going to have a role, but he's obviously battling with Isaiah Pacheco, so there's going to be a chance that, I mean, Pacheco will be back. If the injury seems to where it's going to keep him out longer, then maybe not. It's just a 3-headed monster, so like I'm not in necessarily a ton on Brashard Smith at the moment. I would say I'd probably stash him over Pacheco long term. Tutton's interesting. I'm not in on Christian Watson. It ain't gonna happen. Not gonna happen for me. But yeah, he's probably droppable. To answer your question in a shorter term. Good morning. How are you, Javi? Have Kyron and CMC, so I'm not really looking to start him. So looking at her. Oh, okay, I see. Sorry. Continuation of this. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could roll with Tutton or Smith there, David. Look for an upside injury type of player like Tank Bigsby or Tutton, like maybe a guy that would get in a more significant role if an injury was to occur is probably where I would go then for you there, David. Hobby Gaddison or Bowers, I would go with Bowers. Just plug him in. He's playing. Probably a top 4 option. Likely one of the primary, if not the primary target in that Raiders passing attack. They should be playing kind of from behind. So I'm in on that. I'd go with Brock Bowers. Also, Tennessee's a little tougher against tight ends. So although Gaddison's been on fire, could be a chance that he gets slowed down a little bit here this week. Okay, let's see here. Nick, Brissett, Rodgers, or Stroud. I'd go Aaron Rodgers here. Decent spot against Indianapolis. Not the best, not the worst. Scott, Worthy, or Debo. I would go with Debo Samuel there. Xavier Worthy's a big up and down. Curious to see who the Bills put on him. Likely Maxwell Harrison. So we'll see how that kind of goes. Also with Rice back, Worthy's kind of been a little meh as far as fantasy production goes. Michael on X, who do you start at running back, Rico Dowdle or Ken Walker? I would roll with Ken Walker. Who do you play at tight end? Would be Dalton Kincaid, Theo Johnson, Evan Ingram, Jawan Johnson, or Loveland. I would go with Kincaid and then lean towards Rico and Kincaid. We were close. Similar, Michael. Just not in on Rico Dowdle. I know the expanded role talk, all that fun stuff that everybody's amped about, but they are facing the second best rush defense possibly in the NFL. So, yeah, don't forget that part. not in on it as much there for the Rico Dowdle love. Karlovich, Tet, or Nico Collins. Nico Collins. No Pat Surtain today. Big news for Nico Collins. Big news for that passing attack there in Houston. Everything rises up a little. Some softer matchups there for CJ Stroud in that passing attack. Karlovich. So Nico Collins all day for me there. David, need one wide receiver, quarterback, or Quentin Johnson or Myers would be Jacoby Myers. And then one flex of Knight, Marks, and Charbonnet and Pitts would be Bam Knight for me, David. Welcome, Carl. Welcome. That's what we're here for. Okay. Let's see here. Ed Sino on X. Wide receiver start to Diggs, Dyke, and Christian Watson would be Stephon Diggs and Shimmery Dyke out of that. And then Stafford or Daniel Jones would be Matt Stafford. Like the spot against New Orleans. May not have to throw that much, but you know, this might be a situation like Lamar last, Thursday night, where get up by a lot, but it's because he threw 2 or 3 touchdowns. So it's kind of where I am at there with Matt Stafford this weekend against New Orleans. Cortland Sutton or Hendo, as in Henderson, I would go with Travion Henderson over Cortland Sutton. Despite the fact that I don't think Henderson's probably going to smash by any means this week. Moose is in my homie. A.O. Manor or Coleman. I'll go with Keon Coleman. I will say this. The Ravens game was a disaster for the Bills early on. That was Keon Coleman at his best game. Good chance maybe in another tough matchup where the Bills have to throw. We see Keon Coleman get targeted a little more, even if the coverage is a little tighter. Hopefully we see that. Maybe not. But I would go with that over A.O. Manor at the moment. Tet BTJ or Olave full PPR. I would go with BTJ there for you, FF. Hobby, Herbert or Darnold. Justin Herbert. Again, probably up a little bit in that game, but I think he'll still have a decent day there for Justin Herbert. Also regarding Dowdle, call me crazy, but I think Hubbard is better and will show it in Dowdle with back. Yeah, I mean, the underlying metrics show us as wrong, David. But I agree. I like Hubbard a little better than Rico Dowdle. At the moment, I think Hubbard may just still be kind of the side effects of the injuries and stuff. I do think that it's still kind of a mess in there. I don't think that they say that, but technically more carries could be, 2 more carries than Chuba Hubbard. So I'm not sold on the coach speak there of Rico Dowdle. Chris, start 3, Chase Brown, Kyle Monangai, Bam Knight, and Tajay Spears. That's a tough one there. I will roll with Chase Brown, Monangai, and Knight, though. I like Spears today, though. Don't get me wrong, Chris. I do. Karlovich, Nico, or Marvin Harrison Jr. That one is still Nico Collins. Do love me some Marvin Harrison Jr., but I do want to go with Nico there still. Carl. MSK, start 2, Jamison Williams, Troy Franklin, or Trey Tucker. I'll go Franklin and Jamison Williams here for you, MSK. Like the spot for Franklin. Again, Houston's defense strong, very tight. Stingley likely covers Sutton. Opens up the door a little bit for that secondary receiver, potentially tight ends and Evan Ingram. No Marvin Mims opens up the door for Troy Franklin to potentially have another big day again this week. So I'm in on Troy Franklin. Jamison, maybe this is a spot against Minnesota that we see a big game from him. So Hobby, Debo, or DJ Moore. Debo Samuel. Hobby for you. Kevin, non-PPR, start 3, Chase Brown, Tracy, Vidal, and Hunt. I agree. Hunt's upside is good. I'm starting Vidal for sure. Tracy for sure. I'm fine going Hunt over Chase Brown. So if you want to roll that, I think that Hunt probably doesn't have a huge day against the Bills. Seems like last week they did fairly okay against the run. Much better than what we've seen all year, but still can be exposed. Likely Hunt does find the end zone would be my guess today. So I would probably go Tracy, Vidal, and Hunt there for you, Kevin. Also true, David. When you face bad defenses, it does help. However, Miami did hold Bijan Robinson when I needed Bijan Robinson to be Bijan Robinson to nothing. So, maybe Dowdle's just better than Bijan, right? No. All jokes aside, all jokes here for the jokes. David, Dak, or Herbert. Justin Herbert for me there, David. George, hello, how are you? Manuel Wilson or Tajay Spears would be Tajay Spears. Like the spot for him. Chargers run defense has gotten a little better over the last week. From the weeks prior to that, they were a little leaky in a yards per carry type of territory. Didn't get total yardage because they were getting up on teams and blah, blah, blah. But they were averaging over 5 yards per carry. Tajay Spears a little bit more explosive than Tony Pollard. So I'm in on that. Also, every week that Jacobs gets further away from whatever injury he had, it's less Emmanuel Wilson. So in on Tajay Spears there. I want this spelled. There we go. MSK Krosky negative. Do not like Krosky Merritt today technically tonight against Seattle. Not in it for it. I would take Franklin maybe over Jameson if you wanted. Probably a little safer than Jameson Williams. But I think I prefer the receivers there. MSK. Troy on X, T Higgins or Tracy for flex would be Tyrone Tracy. Oh, not visible. Deleted. Daniel, Woody Marks or Tyrone Tracy would be Tracy. Jay Z rated on X, Parker Washington or Quentin Johnston would be Washington. Burt McGirt on X, flex start, pick one. Allen, Gaddison, or Quentin Johnston. I will go Keenan Allen there. Like the spot for him. Matt Johnson, who would you flex? Tucker Kraft or Tyler Warren over DK? Brian Thomas Jr. or Drake London? Obviously, one of the tight ends will be my tight end start. So both tight ends and London over Brian Thomas Jr. for me there, Matt. Hobby, Jags or Chargers? Jaguars defense. Hobby, 100%. I like the spot for them today against the Raiders. Kevin, you are welcome. Gary, T-Law or Brissett? Trevor Lawrence. I like the spot against the Raiders. Likely throws, maybe rushes a touchdown in there. Hoping for Jacksonville. Probably should have a pretty big day against the Raiders today. Jason, Stephon Diggs or Ken Walker at flex and half PPR. I'd probably go Walker. Like the spot against Washington's rush defense. Diggs is an up and down. Like I'm a little on the fence about him. Tough matchup against Atlanta, but likely could see some easier, softer coverage, kind of operating more as the Z in this offense than the X. So it could be worse for Butte than Diggs. So, but still, I like Walker a little bit. Think he could have a decent game here this week. Drop Judy or for Tajay Spears, Tutton, or Franklin. Ooh. I'd probably drop him for Troy Franklin. Yeah, I'd do it. Spears is interesting as well. Depends, I guess, Jason, what your running back room looks like. But I definitely would drop him for Troy Franklin. Running backs are Jacobs, Walker, at London, JSN, Flexes, CD, Marvin Harrison. I have him across. Negative. I think you're good. Good, David. What's up, reset season? Pick 2 of Wandell, Sutton, and T. Sit Cortland Sutton is my play there, reset season. Non-PPR 8-point receiving touchdowns. Tyler Warren or Bowers 8-point receiving touchdowns. Dang, Ben, that's a premium. I'm gonna go Warren. Pittsburgh tends to give up a touchdown to a tight end almost every week, so seems like, especially as of late. So yeah, I'm gonna go Tyler Warren. I think he finds the end zone. Bowers could. I just think that maybe they ease him in a touch. So I think Tyler Warren a little bit before him. Daniel Jones or Patrick Mahomes here for Ice on X. I'm going to go with Patty Mahomes there. Panthers till I die, Diggs, Allen, or Hunt. I will go with Kareem Hunt there. Dart or Daniels would be Jaden Daniels. And Gaddison or Ferguson would be Ferguson. Zach Hummel, full point, PPR, flex options, Washington, Jacoby Myers, Chubb, Gainwell, P. Ryan. So I would go Washington there. Bum, 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 bum. Cole World, no PPR, 16-man, quarterbacks and buy down. Tyler Shuck or Ward, I would go with Cam Ward. Justin Humphreys, Jackson Dart, or Jaden Daniels. Oh, I just realized they have the same initials as I typed it. We'll see. The questions are coming. Let's see here. Justin Herbert, Drake May. I would go with May there for Greg, the professional mouse, if I could type. Robin Doherty, Manungai or Olave would be Manungai. Rico or Tet for flex for Nathan Wright would be Rico. Sutton or Dowdle for low key would be Dowdell. Pick one: Aaron Jones, Ken Walker, Kirk, Jennings, Horton, Parker, Washington. I would go Walker there in full PPR. Easy 714. Gaddison, Franklin, or Watson. Troy Franklin there for me. 714. Jordan Addison or DJ Moore for Frank Topper. That's a tough one. Probably DJ Moore. I'll go Addison. Let's go Addison here. I think I don't love Addison with McCarthy. But DJ Moore's just been all season. So yeah, I'll roll with Addison there. Could be dicey, Frank. I think he could have a semi decent day. Hopefully McCarthy's just not that bad. But can't be much worse than Carson Wentz, right? HDMI, Dowdle, Rashard Smith, Jordan Mason, Michael Carter, or Kendrick Bourne. Rico Dowdle here, HDMI. What's up, Gil? Watson or Rashard Smith? I'd go Rashard Smith there. The Bills just can't stop running backs. So if it is a shootout, I think Rashard Smith sees a little bit more usage this week, potentially finds the end zone. So I'll go there. Frank, you're welcome. HDMI, you're welcome. Easy 714. Woody Marks or Bam Knight? Ooh, that's closer. I'll go Bam Knight though. I like the spot against Dallas. I think that he's more involved. I think it's a little bit of a smokescreen. All the ups and downs of roster moves. I do like Woody Marks, but I'm going to go with Knight for this week. Need two of Debo, Sutton, Dowdle, and Tracy. Would be Tyrone, Tracy, and Debo there for me, Gil. Like Tracy against San Fran. Debo against dude, if I could speak, Seattle is an okay start, especially with Jaden Daniels back. I think that offense gets a little bit moving there. James, yes, I think it is a decent deal. Kamara's been nothing for us, likely continues to be nothing. And Travion Henderson, at least there's some upside there for you, James. Maybe this week he pops off and kind of puts Ramondre at the back burner, or maybe Ramondre's injury is more concerning and Henderson gets some more run here in the coming weeks. But there's only upside for Henderson. Kamara less than that. So Hunter on X, don't know who QUGE is, never heard of it, but Parker Washington would be the guy, I guess, for you there. Let's see here. Kamara or Hunt for John. C on X would be Hunt. Katona on X would be Collins or Pittman. That would be Nico Collins. And then McConkey or Kyron Williams would be McConkey. I do like Kyron Williams, though. A little bit more than the average folk out there. Buttercrack Sports PPR, pick 1 Theo Johnson. AJ Barner would be Theo. Pick 1 Torrey Horton, Jameson Williams, or Dyke. That one would be Horton. Pick 1 Rogers or Bo Nix would be Rogers. Rob Ferry, Dobbins, Dubes, or Spears. I'll go Spears there for you, Rob. Revolution, I've spoken on X. T or ETN would be T Higgins. Diggs, Tet, or Marvin Harrison Jr. for Dre. Would be Marvin Harrison Jr. HDMY, TY Montgomery over Warren or Vidal. Negative, sir. Play Kamani Vidal. 100%. Like him in his spot against Tennessee today. Gil, is Kirk a full go, Golden or Noel? Yes, Kirk is probably going to be a full go. So I would probably pay Golden over Noel. Loveland likely not so great. Cole Kmet's back. It's a good matchup, but Cole Kmet's back, so not so great. Worthy, Odunze, Tracy, Hunt, Sutton, Tebow, Golden, Allen. Start them all with confidence. There you go. That's the Gill. There you go. David says Golden's playing against him, and he's the category of they always go off against him, so we're in on it. Aurora here on X, BTJ, Jacoby, or Woody Marks. I would go with BTJ there. Luke, Kamara, or Torrey Horton. We'll go with Torrey Horton. Why not? Give it a shot. Kamara's not doing anything, so. Will, pick 2 at flex, deep league, Troy Franklin, Woody Marks, Quentin Johnson, Parker Washington. I will go Franklin and Washington there. Again, it's not actually that deep, Will, to be honest. Yeah, league's way worse than that. Puda Mike, what is up on X? Aaron Jones or Bill? We're going to go Bill there. And then Odunze or Marvin Harrison. I would go Odunze there. Nico on X, full PPR, 2 flex spots, DJ Moore, Jawan, Woody, Wandell. Woody and Wandell. Robinson for me there, Nico. Greg, need 2 Shimmeray Dyke, DJ Moore, Rashard Smith would be Dyke and DJ Moore. L. Dot. Whoa. Billy Epler, start 2, Troy, Jameson Williams, Troy Franklin, Tucker. So Franklin and Williams for me there. L. Dot, Parker Washington or Horton would be Washington. Stephen D, Alec Pierce or Torrey Hunter. I would go Torrey there. Greg G, Debo Samuel or Alec Pierce. I would go Debo Samuel. Alec Croyle, Keenan Allen, Cortland Sutton, or Goddison in flex. I will go with Keenan Allen. Nick Worthy or Downs. I will go Worthy, Caleb Williams, or Darnold. I will go Caleb Williams. Let's see here. Hips D21 on X. Need 3 out of Nico, Debo, Odunze, and Shakir. So Nico, Odunze, and Debo. Jallo on X, Monty or Bam Knight. I would go with Bam. Diggs, Shakir, or Bam Knight / Monty. I would go with Diggs. There. Shahusker, Spears, Pollard, Smith, Spears there. Chris Clark. Who do I start at quarterback? Prescott, Brissett, or Caleb Williams would be Dak Prescott. Tori on X. Good morning, Dyke Franklin, Theo Johnson. In flex would be Troy Franklin for me. Stephen Wallower, Tet, or Gaddison. In flex, full PPR would be Gaddison. Chase Brown or Tet McMillan for Noonan. On X would be Chase Brown. David, why don't you pick this guy last week who had Amon Ra, Bowers, Purcell, and Hampton out, and he put up his best week of the season with 100. Been there and felt that one for you, David. Definitely been in that situation, David. I think even last week too, a couple of them. I don't think it was that bad, but I've definitely been in some spots, the teams that you're like, oh, this should be a fairly easy win, and you get smoked. Been there, done that. It's the name of the game. That's why we keep playing variants. It's lots of fun. Derek, for real, who starts? Jackson Dart, Jared Goff, or Matt Stafford? I'd go with Stafford. Again, I think that the Rams do get up on New Orleans, but I think by then Stafford will have a decent point total. Puka Nakua's back, Devontae Adams. Ferguson kind of started to get going a little bit there from the tight end spot prior to their bye week. So, yeah, I'm in on Stafford. Ricky on X, Gaddison or McMillan. I would go with Gaddison there. Play the hot hand till the hot hand ain't hot. It's the key to the game. Jonathan Carter, Woody Marks, Tajay Spears. I would go with Marks there. Rashid Shaheed or Jacoby Myers for Complex RKS. Stay classy. D-Town, half PPR, Michael Carter, Jaden Blue, Devin Neal. Oh my goodness. I am sorry. Stay classy. This is a disaster. I guess Michael Carter. That's a lot of praying you're gonna need there, homie. Dallas Williams, Flex, Bam, Henderson, or Horton if Cup is out. I would go Bam Knight there for you, Dallas. Kamunga the GOAT. Should I drop Ingram for AJ Barner or Johnson? No. Okay, where were we here? Gil, Superflex, Daniels, Mayer, Dart. Dart is projected on the site to have the most points, but Dart is my sit. Should I reconsider? I would play Daniels for sure. Dart over May would be the only one I'd think about. But I'm fine just starting Drake May. HDMI, pick 3, Chase Brown, Warren, Manungai, Henderson, Spears. Oh, that's a lot of good names. Probably the first 3 HDMI, Chase Brown, Warren, and Manungai for me. Kashubo, Mantry, Ladd, or Marvin Harrison already have Vidal and Gaddison. Ooh, that's a lot of Chargers. Up to you. I mean, I have Ladd ranked way higher than Marvin Harrison Jr. So I would personally go Ladd, but that is a lot of Chargers. So up to you. I say Ladd, but if you want the variety, Marvin Harrison Jr. is still a decent start. Yeah, David, it doesn't matter who starts, okay? Honestly, David, you've been around. They're going to say that, and then they're going to put Chuba Hubbard out there. So maybe. We'll see. Kamara, Bam, Sutton, or Pierce. For Colton, that would be Bam. You're welcome. Let's see here. Will, Keon Coleman, Troy Franklin, or pick up one of Parker Washington or Dyke? I would just go Franklin. Or you will. Dave Manungai or Tracy, half PPR, would be Tyrone Tracy. Hill Seahawks M. Kamara or Gaddison or Merritt would be Gaddison. Let's see here. Any news on Michael Carter works with Cardinals? No. I wouldn't be getting too involved in Michael Carter if I was you, if you can avoid it, Gil. Plain and simple. Because we won't know probably in time to make a very appropriate and proper response to whether we should start Michael Carter. So yeah, I mean, I guess if you're down bad, sure, start Michael Carter. Much like our friend that we just answered their question. But I would be avoiding it at all costs if possible, Gil. Yeah, David, good times. That's what I'm saying. Starter, 51, 49. What is it? Starter is a very loose term and also a term that's more used for the NFL than fantasy. So, Oscar, start two, Olave, Marvin Harrison Jr., Debo, Pickens, also Bam, Worthy, or Spears. That is a lot of people. Oh, wait. Okay. So Marvin Harrison Jr. and George Pickens would be my two there, Oscar. And then between Bam, Woody, and Spears would be Bam Knight for me, Oscar. Louise Me on X, Tech, Goff, Shakir, Manungai, or Hunt for flex. That would be Manungai. Wait, why is Goff in here? I'm so confused. I guess Goff. We're just gonna put Manungai because I don't think that's supposed to be Goff because that's a very weird question. Unless he needs super flex, but you never know. Let's see here. Let's see here. GOAT. Which two should I flex start between Parker, Washington, Butte, and Addison? So that would be Washington and Butte. Woody Marks or Bam Knight would be Bam. Action Jackson, full PPR, T. Higgins, Kyle Pitts, Bam Knight, or Rico Dowdle. I will go with T. Higgins. Barry, Daniels, or Stafford. I will go with Jaden Daniels. Dylan, which 3 do I start for flex? Hunt, Hubbard, Dowdle, Knight, Marks, Gaddison, or Wandell? So Hunt, Knight, and I'll say Wandell. And then Herbert over Daniel Jones for you, Dylan. Gilmero, Sutton, or Edison, or McMillan. Don't love any of them. I will go with Ted McMillan there for you, Gilmero. HDMI, pick 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, 1 flex. Tucker, Dyke, Mooney, Dowdell, Warren, Vidal, Chase, Brown. Wish you had a better wide receiver there, HDMI. I will go Darnell Mooney at wide receiver, and then running backs would be Vidal, and your flex should be Jalen Warren. Feel good about that. I do feel good about that one. It's not as tough. It's not that super tough. Okay, I think we're making some progress here. Dun, 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 dun. Derek, Hunter Henry, or Dalton Kincaid. I will go with Kincaid. Next season, Tyrone Tracy or Kelsey at flex would be Tyrone Tracy. Let's see here. Scrolling. Frozen. Nope, there's just okay. Bert McGirt. Didn't I answer this question? Maybe not. We'll do it again. Keenan Allen on a Gaddison or Quentin Johnson would be Allen. K's Pops 87. Sutton against Houston or Parker Washington. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go Parker Washington there. Colt 45. Woody Marks over Parking Washington as well. Nah. We're going not just 1 foot in, we're going all foots in here on Parker Washington today. Let's see here. Jack, 2 flex spots available, half PPR, Torrey Horton, Kyle Pitts, Aaron Jones. Horton and Pitts. Jalen Warren or Tracy for Mauricio would be Tyrone Tracy. Come on. Computer. We've hit the computer glitching phase of the stream where nothing would like to work. Filski, no PPR. Warren, Knight, or McConkey. I'll go Jalen Warren. TR Debo or Chase Brown for flex. I'll go Debo Samuel. I think. Still not believing in Chase Brown a ton right now in that run game in Cincinnati. So go with Debo Samuel. Jaden Daniels back. Better shootout, hopefully, in Houston, Washington. Oh my God. Washington, Seattle. Jeez Louise. Charbonnet, Krosky, Merritt. I will go with Charbonnet. Likely scores. Again, same situation. More of a shootout. Washington versus Seattle. Horton or Jonnu Smith. Horton seems fun, but is it right? Oh, always fun, Gil. That's what we're playing the game for. It's fun. We don't. Who's here to win? Nobody, Gil. It's all for fun. Honestly, Jonnu Smith, I don't know if is the answer to all your problems against Indianapolis. I'd probably go Torrey Horton. Play the fun. I think it's honestly a better start. True. Truthfully. All jokes aside, I do like Torrey Horton over Jonnu Smith. Hobby, Rico Dowdle or Bam Knight. I'm still rolling Bam Knight. I think he's the go-to kind of in that backfield. At least, if not, he's kind of the red zone guy. Likely scores the touchdowns against Dallas tomorrow night. So I'm in on it. Ranked Cortland Sutton or Bam Knight. I will go with Bam Knight. Nix or Dart for D-Spill. That would be Dart. Worthy, Nico Collins, or pick up Butte. Nico. I know it's been a rough year for Nico Collins, but hopefully he's healthy. No Pat Surtain. That's a help. We saw the offense get going a little bit there last week for Houston. Does it change anything if I said the guy I'm playing is averaging 100 yards this week? What was this for? Brown. Dun, 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 dun. Rich Freyas, Worthy, Addison, or Kamara. I will go Worthy there. Anthony, what's up? Montgomery or Woody Marks? I will go Woody Marks here. Like the spot against Denver, I think situationally, Marks probably sees a better day than Nick Chubb. Yeah, so I mean, I'm on Woody Marks. Monty could be in a spot, but we're really seeing Jahmyr Gibbs kind of just handle that job fairly well. And they say, hey, you're going to give Montgomery all the goal line touches. I'll just score from 30 yards out. So yeah, I'm in there on Woody Marks. Ryan Barry Henderson, T. Higgins, or Vidal. That would be Vidal. Good spot against a very weak Tennessee rush defense with no Jeffrey Simmons. So in on it. Ball thoughts, Henderson or Shakir. That one I'll go Henderson. Don't love Travion Henderson mainly because of the coach and the choices that are being made. Henderson's also been a little iffy as far as that goes, but you know, we'll roll with it here against Shakir in that situation. Timmy asking again this week, Daniel Jones or Flacco. I have JT at running back and Chase at wide receiver. I will go with Flacco here. And then Mello, Olave, or Addison. I will go with Olave. Thiengo, I think that's how it's pronounced. Could be wrong. On X, Watson or Washington. I will go with Washington. Ooh. Shannon on X, Kittle or Kraft. I will go with Kraft. And would you flex the other over Dobbins and ETN? So I'd probably play Kittle over Dobbins. Shannon. I don't love Dobbins against Houston. Not a good spot. ETN I like a little better against Vegas. So I would play Kittle over Dobbins for sure. You are welcome, David. No problem. Josh, what's up? Pick 2 of 3. Genty, Henderson, Monin guy. I hate the autocorrect, Josh. But it would be Monungai and Genty. Those would be the 2. Michael Yoder, start CJ Stroud or Jacoby Brissett. I would go Stroud. I would go Stroud, I think. I like the spot against Denver with no Patrick Surtain. Tough defense to begin with, but I think it's much better without Surtain. Should be a better chance there for CJ to have a decent game. Like we said, the offense got going a little bit last week, so I'm a little in there on CJ Stroud. a little bit over Jacoby Brissett, but I don't mind Brissett. So if you're leaning that way, Michael, I'm okay with it. But I think I prefer CJ. Wes, let's see. He's got Monungai, Chase Brown, Tyrone, Tracy for me, Josh, or Henderson, 100%. Let's see here. So we got Monungai, Chase Brown at running back. Like those two over Dobbins, Dowdle, and Knight. Rasheed Rice, Jalen Waddle, St. Brown. Yeah, we're not changing any of those. Kelsey. Yep. Nope. That one looks good to me. Wes. What is going on here? Please bear with me. The Twitter machine is broken on my computer at the moment. Matt Howe, Debo or Monty would be Debo Samuel. Walt, Quentin Johnston, Wandell Robinson, Christian Watson. I would go Wandell. SL, start Stafford or Love. I'll go Love. And then Kyron and Kraft in my lineup. Okay. Jordan Love for you. Andrew, Sutton, DK, Montgomery at wide receiver. Flex and bench. Opponent this week has Gibbs. Okay. So DK and Monty. Angel, Woody, Bam Knight, Troy Franklin. Who gets the start? I'll go with Franklin. Sutton or Slayton. Ooh, that one's going to be Cortland Sutton still. Gil. Honestly, I like Zacchaeus over Dalton Schultz. That'd probably be mine play too. Yeah, don't start Jordan Mason. I'd start Zacchaeus over those guys. There you go. Let's see here. Roy Taylor, half point PPR. Need 2 wide receivers and a flex. Tucker, Franklin, Moore, Washington, Shimmery Dyke, Watson, Smith, Algier, Mason. So Franklin and Washington. The third option, I will go with Dyke. There. Benson, Parker Washington, or Cortland Sutton. I will go Washington. There. Let's see. Rashad Jackson, need 1 half PPR, Dyke, Parker Washington, or Woody. I'd actually go Woody over those guys there. Rodgers or Brissett for Andrew. I would go Rodgers. Oh my goodness. What just happened? My apologies, folks. Not working. All right, here we go. Kareem Hunt or Keenan Allen. I would go with Kareem Hunt. Standard scoring. Definitely lean to the touchdowns. Kareem Hunt likely scores touchdown. Billy Atkins. Start Bam Knight, Kenneth Walker, or Charbonnet. I'd actually go Ken Walker there. Again, I like the spot for him this week. Leo, should I start Tet, Bam Knight, or Brock Bowers in my flex? I have Warren. So I will go Bowers there. And it broke again. Just why wouldn't it? Why would my computer work when it needs to? Nate, Jameson Williams, or Alec Pierce? I would go Jameson Williams. Let's see here. Bodicinis, Nix, Gaddison, or Quentin Johnston. I would go Gaddison there. Saffron 77. I have to drop one to make room for a kicker. Watson, Parker, Dyke, or Tez. I would go Watson. Rooney, sit one, Dowdell, Worthy, Addison, or Butte. I will go Butte. Ryan Jackson, Tet, or Dowdell. I will go Tet there. Cody Burlink, Collins, or Walker in his flex. I will go Nico Collins. Jerry on X. May Dart or Daniels. Daniels or Dart. Zach, pick 3. Ferguson, Downs, or Pierce. That is only 3. We'll just leave that one there. Genty or Spears for Michael would be Genty. Travis, T. Higgins, or Bam Knight would be T. Higgins for me. Beast. Rico. Oh my goodness. We're just going to refresh Twitter. That's what we're going to do. We're going to just start it back up here. See what we get here. See if this works any better. Okay. Beast. 2 flex. Rico, Krosky Merritt, Knight Myers was leaning Rico and Knight. Yes. I'll do that. Pick 2, Sutton Henderson or Manungai. Hendo and Manungai. Jen Shepard, Dart, or Daniels. I would go Daniels. Escars, Standard, need one. Dubes, Franklin, QJ, and Dyke. I would go Franklin. Brett, Horton, Coleman, or Mooney. I will go Mooney there. Stinland on X. Pick 2, Keenan Allen, T. Higgins, Marvin Harrison. That would be T and Marvin Harrison Jr. Let's see here. Jaden Daniels or Dak Prescott would be Jaden Daniels. Will over Dyke too. Sorry, I forgot him. Not sure how Dyke is. Michael Ayer, Tet McMillan, or Parker Washington. I'd probably go Tet there, Mike. Let's see here. Chico the GOAT, Kelsey, Jawan Jennings, J.K. Dobbins, Troy Franklin for my flex. I would probably go Kelsey there. I'll go Franklin, actually. Anthony, Sutton, Kamara, or Spears. I will go Tajay Spears. AL PPR, I need 2 out of St. Brown, Odunze, and Nico Collins. St. Brown and Collins. K1 Marcel, Watson, or Sutton. I will go Cortland Sutton. Trent, Jennings, Jacoby, or Krosky Merritt. I will go Myers. AMG, Nico, or David Montgomery would be Nico. Brendan Thomas, full PPR, Dak or Daniel Jones. I would go Dak. I need 2 of Monty Dobbins or T. Higgins. Dobbins and T. Fantasy NFL DR, Brown, BTJ, Sutton, Tet, or Gaddison start 1. I guess BTJ. Brad, Love, or Darnold would be Love. KVO, hey, I need a super flex and a flex. Sutton, Addison, Kenneth Walker, Woody Marks, Aaron Jones, or Jacoby Myers, or Jordan Mason. Super flex, Brissett, or JJ. JJ. Oh, wait, no. I need a super flex and a flex. Okay, so flex of Sutton, Addison, Walker, Woody Marks, Aaron Jones, Mason. I will go Walker, and then I would go Brissett over JJ McCarthy. Mr. Sneaky Big Pick, PPR, Daniels or Dart. I will go Daniels. Wide receiver pick 1, Sutton, Allen, or Ted. Keenan, Allen. D13, Jamison Williams or Troy Franklin. I will go Troy Franklin. Dieter, start 3 of these 4. London, Odunze, Collins, Samuel. I would sit Samuel. T Maximus, Sutton, Roman Wilson, Pierce, or Ertz. Need 1 and don't like Sutton today. Greg Campana. Which quarterback to start? Only points 4 touchdowns, 7 rushing, 5 passing. I would say Dak over Stafford and Williams. Which one to flex? Montgomery or Dobbins? I would go Dobbins. Dropped Broussard Smith and picked up Dart start over Knicks. Yes. For Boston on X. Derek, Horton, Dyke, or Down starting JSN 2. I would go Josh Downs there, Derek. Ben to Foley, top 2 between Jennings, Dowdle, Bourne, McMillan, final wide receiver, and flex. I would say McMillan and Jennings. Jake Kazilk. I think that's all. KZRL. Need one flex. Kraft, London, or Allen. Would be Kraft or Franklin, Worthy, Jennings, Pierce, or Hunt in my second flex spot. And then Dak over Caleb. BKM, Bree, Bam Knight, or Quentin Johnson would be Bam. SK, Bestie, Levin, need 3. Johnson, Dube, Spears, Hendo, Parker, Washington, Krosky, Moret, and Tracy. Tracy, Washington, and Henderson. T-Mac or Dowdell. I would go T-Mac. 14 corner. Wandell, BTJ, Marvin Harrison Jr. Got to pick 2. BTJ and Marvin Harrison Jr. Full PPR, pick 2. Dobbins, Moore, and Sutton. David, which 3? BTJ, Debo Harrison Jr., Justin Jefferson. John Doe on X. Jalen Warren or T. Higgins. I will go Warren. David Anthony, Keenan Allen or Cortland Sutton would be Keenan Allen. Patrick Dangler, ETN or Chase Brown would be Brown. 2 of Marvin Harrison Jr., BTJ, Diggs, and Jennings. Marvin Harrison and Brian Thomas Jr. would be my 2. Eric Montgomery, Knight, Hunt, flex would be Hunt. Travion Henderson or Bam Knight would be Bam Knight. QJ or Spears for A on X would be Spears. Renee K, Henderson or Dobbins. I'll go Henderson there. Bad Hat Harry, Monungai or Chase Brown would be Monungai. Would you swap ETN out for either of the other 2? Let's see here. Which was Warren Len. Ryan Dubé, full PPR, Metcalf, Monungai, or Dowdle. I would go Monungai. Let's see, Restaurant Tom. I'm torn between Seattle and Texans D. I'm a Washington fan, so for now I have the Texans in. Which way you're leaning? I would go Houston. There. Andy Lopez, pick 2, full PPR. Ken Walker, David Montgomery, Tajay Spears. Walker and Spears. Wizzy, Quentin Johnson, Torrey Horton, Parker Washington, or Bourne. I will go Washington. C, David Montgomery, Spears, Kamara, Henderson, Spears, and Hendo. Sin. Shakira, Troy Franklin. I would go Troy Franklin there for you, Wizzy. Eric. Greco, Dowdell, or Bill. I would go Dowdell in that situation. Ben, Flacco, or Gino. I would go Flacco. Let's see here. I lost my spot. Here we go. Dano Sports, T. Sutton or Tracy. I would go Tyrone Tracy there for you, Dano. Nicholas Turner, start 2, Rico, Diggs, BTJ, or Bill. I'd go BTJ and Diggs. Drake, Genty, or BTJ. That one would be BTJ. Let's see here. Pick 2, Bowers, Metcalf, or Collins. I already have McBride tight end spot, acquired Bowers cheap when he was injured. Okay. Collins and Bowers. Dowdell or Addison for Dank. On X, I will go Dowdell. Kenyon Wood, start 3, Sutton, Tet, Shakir, Pierce. So Shakir, Tet, and Sutton, I suppose. Mr. Bagels, Tet, BTJ, Gaddison, Diggs, Bowers. Pick a wide receiver, tight end, and a flex. So BTJ. Tight end would be Bowers. And probably Gadsden. Raphael, Bam Knight, Rico Dowdle, Kyle Monungai, or Tajay Spears. I would go Monungai and Bam Knight. Ricardo, Bam, or Henderson would be Bam, and Kincaid over Theo Johnson. Wide receivers, full PPR, pick 2, Debo Higgins, Marvin Harrison, Jr. Sutton. So Marvin Harrison and T. Flex, full PPR, Debo, Addison, or Butte. I would go with Debo Samuel. Jonathan McNutt, Dowdell versus the Packers. Hunt versus Buffalo. Bam Knight. I would go Kareem Hunt. Oils fan account, pick 1 for flex. Tracy, Dobbins, or Olave. I would go with Tracy. DJ Moore or Kyle Pitts for Big Pizza would be Pitts. Shinja Souza, Henderson, or Knight. I will go with Bam Knight. Let's see here. Kai, start Kittle, Higgins, or Tracy. I will go Tracy. Mush, Shaheed, Tucker, or Trey Tucker, or Kincaid. I will go Kincaid. Joe F. Start Charbonnet or Parker Washington. I will go with Washington. Ray Burrio, Flex Dowdell or Gaddison. I would say Gaddison. And then Lawrence or Nix, and it would be Lawrence. Bick, Remy, Worthy, or Shimmery Dyke. I would go Worthy. Shane, Kamara, Charbonnet, or Algier. Kamara, I guess. Flacco, Darnold, or Brissett would be Flacco. Chris, Henderson, Tracy, Charbonnet, Montgomery need 3. Probably sitting Charbonnet of that group. Brashard Smith or Mason. I'd actually go Brashard Smith. Jaden Daniels or Daniel Jones. I would go with Jaden Daniels. Phil, last minute Strass, half VPR flex. Charbonnet, Johnson, or Spears. I would go Tajay Spears. Addison or Shakir, standard scoring. I will go with Khalil Shakir. Michaela, London, or Odunze. I will go with Odunze. London or Kraft in flex. I will go Kraft. PIG, tough stuff. Johnson over Franklin. I will go Franklin. Pick 2. Charbonnet, Dowdell, Chase Brown, or Spears. I will go Brown and Spears. Hootie, Kittle, Ferguson, Gaddison, Odunze. Pick 2. So Kittle and Odunze. Woody Marks or Darius Slayton would be Woody Marks for me. Eli, Formosa, Ladd, or Drake London would be Ladd. Sutton or Bam Knight for IG would be Bam Knight. Need 2 of Henderson, Hunt, Montgomery, Hendo, and Hunt. Alex Anstead, Dyke, or Butte. I'll go with Shimmery Dyke there. Full PPR, do you prefer Emmanuel Wilson, McNichols, Corum, or Michael Carter? I'd say McNichols, maybe. Actually, I'm going to say Blake Corum. McMillan or Gadsden. I'll go Gaddison. Walker, Wandell, Robinson, or Charbonnet. I would do Wandell, Robinson there. Big Beard AK, would you start Terrell Jennings over Alvin Kamara? Nope. Wally, Travion Henderson, or Krosky Merritt. And I would go Henderson, DJ Moore, or Charbonnet. I'll go Charbonnet. P. Gibbs, start 2, sit 1. Franklin, Monty, Marks. Franklin and Marks. Jared, flex, need 1. Gaddison, Diggs, or Montgomery. We'll go Diggs. Wilcox, Wandell, or Olave. I'll go Olave. B, Gaddison, or Bowers. I'll go Bowers. Alex, Elvos, Jones, or Stafford. I'll go Jones. Gainwell or Jennings. I'll go Gainwell. Suss, Keenan Allen, or Rico Dowdle would be Keenan Allen. Zach, start 2. Rico, Woody, Krosky, Merritt. David, what's up? I would go Xavier Worthy over Romeo Dubes today. JMBC, Flacco or Mac Jones would be Flacco, and Dubes over Watson. Wandell or Bam Knight. I would go Wandell. Lewis, Charbonnet or Monty. Charbonnet. James Drew, pick 1. Krosky, Merritt, Dubes, or Johnson. I'll go Dubes. Danny Dimes or Jaden Daniels. I'd go Jaden Daniels. Knight, Dowdle, or Moore would be Bam Knight. Jonathan, Sutton, T-Mac, Keenan Allen, Olave, Warren need 2. Allen or Olave and Warren. Dana, Post, Washington, or Keishon Butte would be Parker, Washington. Bam Knight or Gaddison would be Gaddison. Rico or Henderson. I'll go Henderson. For Jaquan on X. D from Muiwa. I think that's said wrong. Brock Bowers or Bam Knight would be Bowers. And then Bowers or Manungai would be Manungai. Let's see here. Kamara or Shimmery Dyke. I would go Dyke over Kamara. Peter, full PPR. Tat, Bam Knight, Kareem Hunt, Keenan Allen. I'll go Hunt. I will take Atlanta's defense, David, over Pittsburgh's defense. All right. We went 4 minutes past 12:30. We do that every now and then. Either way, we're gonna get out of here. Okay. Appreciate everybody who tuned in. Everybody who asked questions. I will finish them all the way up through the 1 o'clock window until those games kick off, and hopefully get to every single question that I can. And as usual, until next week, take care and have a good week.